what are you getting? You can read all about it, read all about it. Yeah, this is a small chicken.
One of those. Right there. Yeah.
Noodles or rice you like?
Rice.
It's white rice.
That's all right.
Anybody want to try? Anyone want to see? Free for you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Soya chicken.
This one?
Yes.
Thank you. Oh, what are you? Those burgers look good.
You know, no footage of her eating is going to make the final cut of the documentary. She'll put the kibosh on it. The executive producer will put the kibosh on that.
I like that.
Oh, wait.
That's cool.
You actually have that outfit.
I know.
On that note, one of the most memorable things I think you've said so far on our live shows this week is that professional wrestling is dead and what we have now is sports entertainment, right? Do you also think that the art of management is dead?
You know, partially yes, because with the Attitude Era, Vince started going the way, and I joked with Percy Pringle, Paul Bearer, about this. Managers had to look good in a bikini at ringside, which immediately let me and Paul pretty much out of the equation. We did not look attractive in a two-piece. And it became the girls at ringside because it added sex and sizzle and everything. Problem was the girls, I'm not sexist, but the girls weren't exactly as experienced as the guys, so that took really the emphasis off them talking, and they became eye candy. And the male managers kind of went the way of the dinosaur, and then the girls kind of went away a lot and became divas and were wrestling on their own, and they weren't replaced by men or women again. So now there's a few, Heyman gets in, every once in a while, and help me, somebody come up with a really featured, prominent male manager these days. Say again? Zeb, which they just started, and that's, I love Dutch, but I think that was more that Vince wanted to, get the immigration thing going with Alberto Del Rio, and Dutch can cut to great promo, and he looks, he looks like that he fits that suit. But there's two right now in the entire WWE really that are featured, and any in TNA. Can we think of any? I'm clean and sober from the programming. But the point is, now it becomes everybody asks me, are the managers going to come back? Well, one, the industry leader has to do it, Vince McMahon, the WWE. If they feature something, everybody else will copy them. But then where are the managers coming from? Because nobody's out there getting experience. You can't just show up on national, worldwide television and instantly be good at what you do when you've never done it before. In some cases, like a Roddy Piper in his day, a wrestler manager, player coach / thing, can work because there's some glib wrestlers. But, strictly as a manager, a lot of you guys, maybe, putting your time in and coming up. But until you get a chance to get the experience and do what I said, do regular television and work with a regular client so that you can establish that bond and then, work your way up to national television. If they did just decide suddenly, we want all the male managers we can book, where are you going to find the good experienced ones? Because they're not giving anybody the chance to do that. The business is constricted. So it's, it's not an easy answer. I think there should be more because I think it's all variety. It's like tag team matches. It adds so much more variety to the card, but, until somebody that's actually running the big companies decides we're going to do that, it's not going to happen.
All right, where's Kat? Is she over there? Get some lights up. All right, any questions? Come on, let's make them risque.
We'll go towards the front, I think.
Get yourself down.
What are you? It should have been you I was burying instead of Bruce Pritchard. You hooer.
We'll go for you. What's your name and what's your question?
Jim, my name's Hamza, and I just want to ask about two guys. Last 2 years at WrestleMania, the main event's been Rock versus Cena, and their first match, I think, is now the biggest pay-per-view buy in the history of WWE.
The biggest what now?
Pay-per-view buy.
Pay-per-view buy. Okay, I'm sorry.
And I just want your thoughts on those two, Rock and Cena, because I know you worked with them at the beginning point of their career, and how you feel like they've got the accolade as the biggest draw ever.
Well, they got the accolades because they did it. They were the biggest draw ever. And, you know, I saw The Rock's tryout match in Corpus Christi, Texas in 1996, I guess it was, maybe late 95, somewhere around there, early 96. And we knew instantly, you know, he had the bloodlines. His grandfather was Peter Maivia. His father was Rocky Johnson. They were big stars. He looked good. He had the look. He had the size. He was an amazingly apt student in the ring. You know, he'd had just a limited amount of training with his dad, and he'd gotten the warehouse before we had the developmental program in Stamford with Dory Funk Jr. and Dr. Tom Pritchard, and he was just amazing. I asked him one time, I said, "You've trained how long?" He said, "I worked out, you know, a couple months with my dad." I said, "It's like you've been wrestling for 5 years." And I told Vince at the time, and I'm proud of this because I was right. I'm always proud when I'm right. I said, "Consider him your WWF champion in 5 years because he's that good," and he was the champion in 3. He's taken heat from certain circles because he comes back once or twice a year for the big match, but guys, it's a business, and he's a great performer. And if I'm a promoter and I've got one of the biggest action movie stars in Hollywood that not only wants to be a part of my show, but actually is probably a better performer than most of the guys on my current roster, and I can have him come and wrestle for me once or twice a year, who do I need to blow for that? He's box office. People know who he is. He draws money, and he loves the wrestling business, and he doesn't play mental games. He goes out and he performs, but he gets the other guy over too. He does everything he's supposed to do. And John Cena, I know he's not the most popular guy in some circles, but I've known John since 2000 when he came from California and started training with us. He was always a great guy. He worked hard. He was never late. He was never impaired. He never had any problems. He was a great promo. He was a good student. His in-ring work has taken a backseat to his gimmick and the schedule that he takes. But, you know, here's a guy who's always, yes, he toes the party line. The party's paying him $15 million a year. I probably would too. I might actually take you up on that fucking offer you made in the back about that little thing if I was making $15 million from you, but I won't do it for 40 pounds.
Do you know the reason why the whole WrestleMania thing was made up in the UK between John Cena and The Rock? And I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I did the interview.
I didn't know you were that limber.
I did the interview with John Cena, mainstream publicity, and John Cena goes, you know, well, the thing that fucks me off for The Rock, he comes back, won't come back anymore, won't do the people's eyebrow, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, Rock gets onto it. I technically booked WrestleMania. Twice! I don't say... twice.
Well, at least it was a wrestling fan doing it instead of one of the comedy writers, right? But no, just real quick, I love John. He's always been a stand-up guy. I mean, from the 400 Make-A-Wishes to just all the promotional work he does, he's a beast. He comes back after injuries. He's an Iron Man. I will never say anything bad about John Cena. I've always had the utmost respect for him.
How did it go? How'd it go? Yeah. Amazing. I've got to get on a tube now to my friend's place, and I'm wearing Undertaker eye makeup.
Are you getting back?
I'm going on the tube because I've got an Oyster card. I'm going on the tube to like High Barnet area. I've got a tube. No, it's my. No. Oh no, it's in my bag. I need to get my tube ticket out of my bag. Oh, I've got it. I found it. It's in my bum. Tube? No, that's not my tube ticket. Oh fuck it! I don't know. I'm gonna go Soho and get bombed.
Really, really good. It's weird because Jim kind of talks about a lot of stuff that it probably happened before I was even born, but he tells it with such enthusiasm that, I don't know, it all makes sense and it's really interesting to listen to. I could probably listen to him like for hours, and I feel as if I know him. It's like he's my Uncle Jimmy. Not in a weird way. Uncle Jimmy! God, Uncle Jimmy. No, it was really, really good. It's actually the best Q&A I've been to, definitely. And that's even after Bret Hart. He was pretty good, but Jim's was much better. He was hilarious.
Okay.
Okay, we're still waiting to leave the dock here on the ferry, and we're afraid for a moment that we might have gotten on ghost ship, but there are people operating the boat, but they don't speak, they don't look at you, and they don't really say anything, so you just sit here and wait until they decide to go.
You thought we were over there already.
No, I'm saying that we're still, that's because we've been here so long.
We were floating adrift.
We're not, don't pay the ferryman until he gets you to the other side. Don't pay the ferryman.
No.
I'm doing a bit. You wouldn't help me do the bit. She's not bit helpful.
Jesus.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We're on fire.
There's your fucking bit. That was strong.
What is that? What had happened?
It's the fumes, the diesel fumes.
Good God.
Oh, here we go. Now, see, they're revving up the engines. Oh my God. I'm crying.
I'm crying. You're killing me. Stop, you
Oh
kill
my
me. No, really, you kill me.
Okay, we're not sitting here. We're way back. Oh, crap.
This brown building, this is Clarence's house. This is Prince Charles's house.
This little hole.
Yeah, the little side
shack
gate.
right here?
That's
That's where he gets to say it.
That's Prince Charles's private entrance. That way you don't have to wake the Queen up when he comes in late from a date. All the flags in front of the Prince's place, just like the flags on the NWA. Hey, hey! Like the flags on the NWA crest of arms. Watch the floor, the ground.
Watch it. What, he'll come and snap your
face
arm?
off.
Yeah, snap your
Yeah, I've seen this on America's Funniest Home Videos. It's about to peck my face in. Honestly, the last 2 days, going there between Trafalgar Square and Westminster Abbey and the Tower of London, and seeing 1,000-year-old buildings in front of that shard, which is what, 3 months old.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and the fact that there's room to actually sit back and look at it. In New York, everything's on top of you.
Yeah. Right.
But you can take the boat down the Thames and just look at everything, and it's actually.
It's just there.
It's visible. It's not just a big clump. It's amazing. Oh, I'm coming. Oh, yeah. Would you? Oh, I bet not. Yeah, it's been. I'm forging my signature. I'm the best Jim Cornette forger in all of professional wrestling. But don't show me signing 80. Act like there was like 20 left over. Because if I say there's 80 left over, people say, God damn, his book doesn't fucking sell.
Okay, so we'll start with.
Well, now if we're shooting this, then we'll blow our. People will think we actually planned this shit.
Yeah.
True.
No, I'm kidding. You shoot it, we don't have to use it.
Yeah. So we'll start out with how's the UK kind of deal, and then gonna go into.
Well, let's make it more localized tonight.
Okay.
Since we're in a different country now. This is the third country you've been in 10 days. In Scotland, England. Now we're in Wales. Talk about the road signs.
I can do that. I can do this gimmick then.
Yeah, and we got to do that. Let's do that right off the start and kind of make them feel comfortable, a little local flavor. So we'll do that gimmick, and then we can start talking about what happened on Raw, last night, and like with just the conversation we had in the car.
Okay, yeah, we got a little bit. I don't want to over plan this, so we got a little one of those back in time things.
Okay.
First, this is the short one.
He was going to tease. Yeah, the idea was to tease. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
So I'll explain. Yeah, because see what you think of this, Jim. So what we're going to do is, so I've taken the list of all the questions that we've not done yet, right? So So Dave can say at the start, now last night, big night, network and everything, we're going to cover that in a second.
Right.
But what we're going to do is also just take you back in time. We're going to go back to what happened. Just talk about Mick Foley and the bump off the cell, like
Okay.
people know that. And then he can come into the stuff about last night, well, so they know it's coming, it's going to be recent, and that will sort of tease it. But then on this rant...
And then also, while we're into last night, then we can go into the Sting story from Corpus Christi, because if Cena hurt his knee, how amazing is that? Right before the big show, Sting did the same thing 20-something years ago. I was there. And then that was the same night, we've already talked about Mick's bump, that was the same night that Mick worked with Mascaras,
Yeah, he did that
which he actually just found out. I didn't know this, but he actually just found out in December when he came to Louisville and I did his Q&A. I'm the one that booked that match, because he was like, oh, when he heard about it, he's like, oh, I knew that was going to get him attention, because he's the only one that could have had a match with Mascaras and actually gotten over because of it, because of the shit that he could do. And I'd seen him do the Nestea plunge in Memphis, and I said, when he drop kick shit, because Mascaras always got to get his drop kick in, right? So we worked all the spots. I can't even talk today. Where Mascaras beat him up, didn't sell anything, threw him out of the ring. I said, just let him hit you with the drop kick, right? Boom, you take the bump, you crawl back in, he hits the flying body press. Boom, 1, 2, 3. By the time he took that bump and we sold it, me and Jim Ross, and then he actually climbed back in the ring, the people were all, cactus, cactus. They loved him. Mascaras hits the crossbody. They're like, we don't care.
Do you remember how cool it was as well? So when he landed, it was like spit came out of his mouth,
Yes.
but he looked like teeth came out when he landed.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it was
He had
amazing.
very coagulated spit. The Cactus did all the time. It looked like teeth. Sometimes it was teeth, but anyway, yes, we can do all that stuff. Boom,
So I
boom,
guess,
boom.
yeah, we'll do network and then maybe Hogan, then into Cena, because then
Yeah.
from Cena we can transition to Sting.
To
right?
Sting, and then that was the same night. Cactus, we talked about him, the bump, blah blah blah. Then
So one of the things that you on the siren thing, you mentioned the other day a story about Brock Lesnar, but we've not done it. You said not a story, but you said, when Lesnar's another one but we've not actually covered Lesnar on the whole tour.
have I? I thought we did it one. Maybe it was in the car.
It was in the car.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can talk about
I was
it.
saying this a minute ago, like, which bits were in the car and which were on the,
Okay.
but
So what I was thinking for that, it's talking about if you're still talking about Raw and the Undertaker and
Yeah.
Lesnar or whatever, that's when I can hit the.
Well, and also with Brock, if I'm going to tell it anywhere, I can tell the one here when he got upset and asked Danny. Jim threatened to shoot. I threatened to shoot him. Well, because you can hear the story tonight. I wasn't going to really shoot him, but I said, look, you'll understand it. But he didn't understand that nobody was going to fight him. That if he pissed them off, especially he was down south, he was going to get shot. Because no human being would fight Brock Lesnar on purpose, right? Unless you're getting paid $1 million for it. So he was fucking running his mouth to a lot of people. He was offending my referees and some of my managers. And finally he got on Stacy's wrong side for a fucking deal that I'll tell the story about. And they were having the fuck you. And he said, fuck you to her in front of me. And I said, no, you don't say fuck you to her in front of me, because I'm going to have to fucking shoot you in the knee. What? So then he went to Danny. He said, why would Jim threaten to shoot me? And Danny said, because look at you, you big motherfucker. Nobody's going to fight you. So if you piss somebody off, they're going to shoot you minimally in the leg, possibly in the fucking head, to make sure that you don't have to have a comeback on them. So anyway, he didn't ever get it. That's a good one. Yeah.
Wow.
So I guess we won't when we're talking about Raw, we won't mention Brock and Taker, because I can acknowledge that was signed.
Well, it'd be good if
when we get onto
how you did it in London. You sort of said Brock Lesnar, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
And if you move on, that'd be a great time to go.
We are going to talk about him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. Just when it comes up, that's another one we can do.
And then we'll take questions from the crowd, obviously.
Shawn Michaels got beaten up in a bar in Syracuse, New York. What really happened? You want to hear that? And finally, what is the real reason, if there is one that you know of, why Macho Man Randy Savage is not in the WWE Hall of Fame? I think we have a winner.
How about if I do a little of both of those last two? Because I got to tell you, once again, with Randy Savage, and everybody knows what the rumor is, there was some illicit business going on between him and Stephanie. All I can say, and believe me, I'm not one to not knock somebody if they deserve it. However, at the time that this was alleged to have gone on, we never heard anything about this. I never heard it until years after the fact, when it was talked about on the internet as this big rumor. I remember when Savage left, I actually was the guy that filled in for him. When he left, he was doing the color on Raw, and I was suddenly pressed into service for a number of weeks on the sperm of the moment, as Kenny Bolin would say. You know, because he didn't know that Randy was going to leave, but Randy left. He left under, you know, kind of bad circumstances. In that, professionally, he took the Slim Jim sponsorship with him. And, you know, Vince is a guy who, for all the times that he wants to bring somebody back into the fold after they've sued him or fucked him or whatever, just so he can prove he's the bigger man, that struck him wrong with Randy. And you know, a team of psychiatrists could work for years on Vince McMahon, and I end up the psychiatrist would be in the fucking nut house and Vince would be unchanged. But I never heard that, and I've never heard anybody that was there, as Dennis Condrey would say, to see the dick in the pussy. I've never heard that from any credible source. I can't say that it's not true because I wasn't there, but also have no evidence of it whatsoever besides the spurious rumors on the internet. So that's kind of a downer of a story. However, Shawn Michaels getting his ass kicked by... I told you he couldn't whip cream with an outboard motor, right? In a real fight, Shawn Michaels is not going to win shit. As a matter of fact, I think he'd probably lay down for a paraplegic and a fucking nursery school girl. But he came out and told the story. Who remembers how many Marines it was? Was it 9 Marines? 6, 9? Well, you know, just it depends on how many times he told the story, because it keeps... One Marine. There were a bunch of Marines in a group, but it didn't take all of them. What happened was Shawn was being his normal self, pissing off everybody in sight. He was out at a bar. He was with Sean Waltman and Davey Boy Smith, and I know this, and they were breaking kayfabe, of course, because that's how little that Sean especially respected the business. And I hate to say it about Davey, too, but he shouldn't have been there. But they were supposed to be big enemies, but at the same time, they were out at a bar. Everybody was inebriated. Probably Davey was in the best shape, because he can handle his liquor. But they got a 2-door rental car, a hire car, as they call them over here. And Davey got in the back seat first. And the seat came back, and it's a 2-door thing, not a 4-door, so he's kind of back there. And Michaels had been mouthing off like he usually did because he thought he was a big star and a celebrity and always wanted to piss everybody off, let everybody know he's there. And the Marines took exception to this, and from what I heard, one Marine really took exception and decided to catch him getting in that fucking car and tell him which way the fucking sun came up in the morning. And poor Waltman's asleep in the front seat while this is going on. Davey is stuck in the back seat. He can't get, world's strongest man, he can't get the fucking seat unlatched, right? What the fuck? He's trying to get at, if it had been Davey and Sean against 6 Marines, we'd have been talking even. But it was Sean against 1 Marine, and he got his fucking clock cleaned. And then he came back, and of course, well, it was 8 of them, or 6 of them, or 14 of them, or I don't know, they had a buzzsaw, I'm not sure, I can't remember. But the whole problem was, as Jim Ross says, nothing, his father used to say, nothing good ever happens on the streets after midnight. Shawn Michaels was at a bar, running his dick liquor at 2 o'clock in the morning to the wrong guy, and he got his shit pasted for it, and he deserved it. So that, I'm entirely happy to relive over and over again in the time tunnel. We like to travel light, so we only have the essentials. When we get back home in our truck, we have a cooler about this size that's still got a couple of dozen Sprite Zeros in it just for the trip back. So by the time the flight takes off, I'll be asleep. The last piece of our puzzle is here, and now we begin the arduous journey to Heathrow Airport, where I will begin Xanaxing myself immediately for the sheer panic and terror ahead. Alex Shane has walked in. Good morning.
Good morning.
I asked Drunky McDrunkington is feeling better now.
He's young. He can rebound quickly. Yeah.
All right. We ready? Oh, and you have the cooler that you gave me. We gave you back with all the stuff we got left over. Amazing. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as we get there, we'll get the bags to the desk, we'll get checked in, make sure the flight's on time, so my nerves will somewhat diminish. Then we'll check out the security line. When we get through security, that'll be the first application of medication. Possibly along with a noon cocktail. then when I'm sitting there realizing what's about to happen and seeing planes take off, then I will judge by the amount of adrenaline that I'm producing, because my chest will be pounding, as to whether I need more medication before the actual board call, at which point I will take another piece of medication. That by the time that we get there and get settled in, and I strap myself in a seat and pretty much cut myself in half with the seat belt in order to make sure it's tight enough to keep me in the seat in event of any weather occurrences, then hopefully I'll pass out before the thing actually takes off.
I'm sure you will.
But I don't, now going back this other way, the flight over here was 8 hours, but going back the other way, it's 9.5. So I guess because we're flying against the jet stream or whatever, but that may need another 0.5 milligram to successfully, because I nipped up on the flight over here during the turbulence. I remember that. Everything was shaking and I was gripping, and did I squeeze you hardly?
Our stewardess Jane was nice. So.
Do you know the stewardess's name? I don't remember what the stewardess looked like. They could have been wild animals and zoo creatures walking around on that plane. I would not remember.
Idiots.
Here, let's all get out of here.
Yes, that's fine. Yeah, sorry about your stinky cheese there, but I didn't want to throw it out. This is nice Georgian sausage. It actually tastes like brie, but I think it's camembert.
We'll figure that out.
All right.
So many choices.
Thank you for bringing them over. No problem at all.
Had a
Yeah.
great time. Great time.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Have a real safe flight, and I'll speak to you when you get back.
All right.
All right.
Just in case this is the last words that I speak, I want to say I had a great time in the United Kingdom. Wrestle Talk TV and Alex Shane are #1. I have become a Corny in the UK, and now I'm going to get back on this plane and see if I can just get on solid ground before the end of today.
Give them a nice cheers.
Cheers! Oh my God. All right. Wait, bye. All right. What are we doing? Okay, we're going to go to the toilet, and we're going to figure out where security is and get the cab back. And tonight, when we get to my buddies, I'm going to crash out or whatever. You email him, and then tomorrow at some point we'll get up and drive back home. And so then Sunday-ish, I will actually email you that I'm back home and recovered and slept everything off and everything. But you'll hear from my
Yeah, I'll
chief
let you know
stenographer.
about it. Okay.
Get us a photo of you landing back, and we'll post it on Facebook page.
Back
kissing the soil.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I got to get down and kiss the ground. All right.
Cool.
Well, let's go do
All right,
this.
be
See you
safe,
later.
guys.
Take
Thank
care.
you, guys.
Bye.
Tell Dave and Joel also that we're
I
sorry
will,
we
yeah,
didn't
I
see
will
you one
do.
more time, but you know. Now you guys have to come over to
It's done.
Kentucky.
It's on.
So it'll be an easier excursion over there.
See you later.
And it's all over.
That's a wrap. Wow.